Hi everyone. Today we are going to study structure charts in system analysis and design. Now, what is a structure chart? A structure chart depicts the modular organization of an information system. So, you know that an information system is divided into different modules in order to reduce the complexity of the system. So, a structure chart depicts this very modular organization of an information system. That how these modules are organized within an information system. A structure chart graphically shows the way the components of a program or a system are related. As I said that the structure chart depicts the modular organization of an information system. We also call these modules by the name of components. So basically, how is it depicting modular organization of information system? By graphically showing that how these modules or components are related to each other. Because when we talk of an information system, it is depicted in terms of programs or software. So within the program, how these components are related to each other. The relationships are shown in terms of parameter passing mechanisms applied and the basic structured programming operations. So basically, how are these modules related? In the terms of parameter passing mechanisms. We can also call these modules as functions. These modules are nothing but the functions. As you know, when there is a large program, the complexity of the program increases, and to reduce the complexity, we divide the program into various modules. Now, since these modules belong to the same program, so despite being independent, they are logically related to each other. And how do they relate to each other? By passing parameters. So, parameter passing mechanisms, like when you create a function, then you call that function. So there is within one function there is a function call, and then that function is being called. You pass parameters when the function is being called to the function being called. So this is parameter passing. So the relationships are always shown in terms of parameter passing and the basic programming operations applied upon that within that particular function. It depicts various modules across different levels of the hierarchical organization. Now these modules are organized in a particular hierarchy, wherein the first module will be executed first, the second module will be executed second, the output of first module will serve as the input for the second module, like this. So basically, the structure chart depicts how various modules across different levels of the hierarchical organization are placed. In this hierarchical organization, there is a coordinating module at the top. Now, as I said, there is a hierarchy of modules wherein one module will be at the top and other modules will be below those modules. Now, the module which is at the top is called the coordinating module. The modules at the next level are called by the coordinating modules. So the module at the top is called the coordinating module, and all the modules at the next level are called by the module at the top, which is the coordinating module. If a menu based system is concerned, where we have a menu, so basically menu, that means so the main menu will be considered as the subordinate modules. Now you must have seen various websites wherein you are provided with the menu, and when you open the menu, within that there are sub menus. So the main menu, which when you click and then you find the sub menus, so that main menu is considered as the subordinate module, and then within that module you have sub menus called the sub modules. Even the calling mechanism is hierarchical. So the modules are arranged in a certain hierarchy, and the calling mechanism, the way one module will call the other module and so on, is also in a particular hierarchy. It is hierarchical. The coordinating module at the top calls the module at the next level, and the module at this level calls the module at the next level to them, and so on. And this is how the calling takes place. A module calls a subordinate module whenever there is a need for an operation to be performed by a subordinate module. Now, what is a subordinate module? In a menu-based system, the main menu is called a subordinate module. So, when will the module call a subordinate module? Whenever there is a need for an operation to be performed by the subordinate module. Modules at the lowest level perform various tasks. They don't call any other module. So it is always the modules which are at the top of the hierarchy which would call other modules, and the modules at the lowest level would only do some task or perform some operations, but they do not call any other module. Now, what are the symbols for structure chart? How is this structure chart depicting the organization of various modules? How is it depicting the relationship between these modules? So, we will see how this is done using various symbols. So, basically, we are going to see what all are the symbols for a structured chart. Now, in a structured chart, module, first of all, what is the symbol for a module, which is a very important entity of any structured chart? So, a module depicts the system's process or task. Various processes or tasks are depicted by the modules. There are three varieties of a module. Modules basically can be divided into three categories. The first one is the control module. Control module is that module which can have multiple sub-modules. Then if we are talking of sub-modules, then what is a sub-module? A sub-module is a module that is a subset or child of another module. So basically, a sub-module is a module which is contained inside another module. So we call it a subset or child of that module within which it is contained. Module for library. Module for library can be called from any module and are reusable. So basically the functions that are called are known as the modules for library. All those modules which can be called by another modules but which do not call any other module are called the modules for library, and they are reusable because in a function or in a module, once a code is written, it can be used by any other module by calling it and passing parameters if required. So basically, if we look at the hierarchy of these variety of modules, the control module is at the top. Like here, module 1 is at the top, so you call it the control module. Then there are three different modules within this module 1 by the name of module 2, module 3 and module 4. So therefore you can say that the module 2, module 3 and module 4 are the sub-modules of module 1 or the child modules of module 1, and since they are at the lowest level, that means they are not calling any other module but they can be called from any other module. They are usable, hence they are also known as module for library. Then there are conditions which have to be specified in a structured chart. So how do you specify the conditions? A tiny diamond. Here you can see this diamond symbol. So this tiny diamond we are talking about. So this tiny diamond symbol symbolizes the conditions, and it is at the module's base. The module which would be calling other module, it is at the base of that particular calling module, which is also known as the control module. It shows how the control module can choose any subroutines or submodules or child modules based on a set of conditions. Like there is a condition, if x is greater than equals to 2, go to this function. If x is less than equals to 2, go to this function. So there is a condition based upon which this control module will either call this submodule or this submodule. So this condition is symbolized by this diamond symbol. It indicates the control module determines which submodule will be invoked. Obviously, since it is the control module which will be calling the submodules, so this diamond symbol which symbolizes the condition is indicating that the control module is the module which will be deciding or determining which submodule or which subroutine will be called or invoked. Then the symbol for loops. As you know, you have loops within a program which depict your iterative logic. Iterative means which is happening in a repetition. So a curved arrow represents the loop in the module. Like here you can see this curved arrow. This is representing the loop in the module. If there is a loop in a module which is continuously being followed, like say for example, for I equals to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. So till I does as long as I is less than 10, you will keep doing I plus plus starting from I equals to 0. So that means a particular task is happening in iterations, and such iterations are given the name loops. So these loops are represented by these arrows that you can see. A curved arrow represents the loop in the module. The loop repeats the execution of the module on all submodules. So basically, when there is a loop in a module, that loop module will be called repeatedly by the parent or coordinating by the parent module. It is not necessary that all the time the parent module is the coordinating module, because there may be a module which is at the top of this module and which is at the topmost level, then it would be called the coordinating module. But otherwise, if there are some modules which are below the coordinate module and they have child modules, it would be simply called the parent module. So the parent module, which is calling the child modules or submodules, if there is a loop in the child module, then the parent module will have a repetitive execution of this child module on all submodules. So basically, if there is a loop within the parent module which demands the execution of the child module, then the execution the loop repeats the execution of the module on all sub-modules. One or more modules can be repeated. Then how are data couples represented in structured design? In this particular structure chart, basically the data couples depict the data flow. Now you need to know how the data is flowing. As you know, there is a hierarchy in which the modules are organized, and there is a hierarchy in which the modules will be called. So what is the flow of data? From where the data is coming and where it is going? That particular data flow is depicted by the data couples. So basically, a data couple depicts the data flow between the modules when the data flows from one module to another. Say for example, the output of one module serves as the input of another module. So how that data is flowing? That means from module 1, the output of module 1, if serves as the input of module 2, that means the data is flowing from module 1 to module 2. So this flow of data from module 1 to module 2 is depicted by data couples, because you know there is data transaction between module 1 and module 2. But then what is the flow of that transaction? Whether it is flowing from module 2 to module 1 or from module 1 to module 2 are two different things. So this data flow is depicted by the data couples. A directed arrow with an empty circle, like here you can see this is a directed arrow. This particular arrow has a direction and then there is an empty circle on its base. So a directed arrow with an empty circle at the end represents this flow of data, and this is known as the data couple. Like as an example, here you can see that there are two modules. One module maintains the student data and the another module looks up into the student data. So basically the data is flowing from the maintain student data module to the lookup student data module. When the student data, the module which is maintaining the student data, contains all the records of the students, including the student name. Now if a certain record has to be looked up, like say for example, if you might want to find the student name of a particular student, then the data will flow from this module to the lookup student data module, which is finally looking up for a certain record of a student. So the flow of data is from year to year, from this module to this module. So if it is from upper module to the lower module, this will be the symbol student number, and then you can see first the data is flowing from this module to this module. Because of this module, if you have to look up for a student data, then you have to refer to the student data module. So first the data is flowing from this particular module to this particular module. So you see the symbol is showing the flow of data from here to here. Student number and student name have to be looked up. So for this the data has to be data flows from this particular module to this particular module. Once this data has been looked up, the control flow of data is back from this module to this module. So this arrow, directed arrow with a circle at the base is symbolizing this. So the flow of data is two directional, once from this module to this module depicted by this particular arrow, and then second time from this module to this module depicted by this particular directed arrow. And these two directed arrows are known as data couples, and this is how they represent the flow, or they depict the flow of data between various modules. Then there are control couples. Control couples represent the control flow between the modules. How the control, one is the data flow and another is the control flow. So just like the data couples represent or depict the data flow between the modules, the control couples or the control flow depict the control flow between the modules. So how the control is flowing from which module to which module? A directed arrow with a filled circle. So there is a directed arrow with a filled circle over here, right? A directed arrow with a filled circle represents the control couple or the control flow, just like a directed arrow with a empty circle represents the data flow or data couple. Similarly, the control couple is represented by a directed arrow with a filled circle. So empty circle for the data flow and filled circle for the control flow. So basically a directed arrow with a filled circle at the end represents the control couple or the control flow between any two modules. It shows a message, also known as a flag, that one module sends to the other module. Now one module will send a message to another module regarding a certain function that it demands from that module. So that means the control is from that particular module which is sending the message or flag to which module to which that message or flag is being sent. So that means you have to show that how the control is flowing. The control is flowing from that module which has sent the message or flag to that module to which the message or flag has been sent. So how would you depict it? You would depict it using control flow, which is basically a symbol with a directed arrow with a filled circle. So this you can see is a directed arrow with a filled circle. You can see here this is a directed arrow with a filled circle which depicts the control flow, that basically which module is sending a message or a flag to which module. The module uses a flag to signal a specific condition. So here you can see maintain student data is the parent module, and check student status and update student records are the child modules of this parent module. Now here you can see both the symbols of control flow and data flow. So basically, control flow, when you have maintaining the student data, that means you also need to check the student status. Student data is being maintained. Now you check the student status. So that means what is the status of the student, whether he has paid the fee or not. Then accordingly you will update the student records. So whenever you have to update the student records or you have to check the student data, this particular module which is maintaining all the student data will called a particular submodule accordingly, whether it has to check the status of student or whether it has to update the student record. Now this fee overdue is represented by this control flow symbol. Fee overdue means when you are updating a student record and you find that the fee is overdue for this particular student, that information now flows from this particular submodule to this parent module. That means how the control flow is going from this submodule to this parent module. So basically message has been passed from update student record module to the maintain student data module. So that is why the directed arrow is from this module to this module, and this filled circle represents the control flow. So whenever there is a message passing, that is representing the control flow, and whenever there is data being passed, then that data passing is represented using the data couple. So basically here as you can see, student number is being passed. So this is not control flow, this is instead your data flow. So data couple, that means a directed arrow with a empty circle will represent that. So when you have to maintain student data, you will send student number. So a data is being sent to the submodule, right? From maintain student data module, student number, which is the data, is being sent to check student status module. So the data flow is from this module to this module. You can clearly see with the help of the directed arrow. The direction is from this module to this submodule. Then when you have to update the student record regarding the course fee details, again the data will be sent from this main module to this child module, this parent module to this child module. Course fee details sent from maintain student data to update student record module. So data being sent from this module to this module, hence the data flow or the data couple symbol going from this module to this module. Now if there is a fee overdue, you send the course fee, this module sends the course fee details to this particular submodule. Now this submodule generates a message saying the fee overdue is there for this particular course. So that means a message is being sent from this particular submodule called the update student record to this parent module, which is the maintain student data. So message being sent from this module to this module, hence the control flow symbol, that is a directed arrow with a filled in circle, goes in this direction from the child module to the parent module. So this is how you depict the direction of data or message from one module to another module using data couples and control couples. Last symbol is the physical storage symbol. Basically where the actual data will be stored, where all the information or data can be stored, is known as the physical storage. And the symbol for physical storage is something like this, a rectangle with rounded edges. Example for a structured chart you can see like this. Say for example there is an email server. So what will be the structured chart for this email server? First of all, user will enter the login details. Login details will be verified. So that means login details are passed here. What are you passing? You are passing data from this module to this module. So you can see the data couple symbol, data flowing from this module to this module. Then once the login details are verified, you will view the mailbox. To view the mailbox, the account will be loaded. So data again passed, load account data passed from verify login details to view mailbox module. Now view mailbox on what conditions the mailbox will be viewed, whether you have to view messages or you have to compose messages. There are two things, one wherein you want to view messages and another wherein you want to compose messages. So that means the condition or a diamond box comes here, wherein it will be, this module will decide whether it has to view message or it has to compose message. It will, if it has to view message, then it will pass data from this module to this module, and when it has to compose message, it will pass data from this module to this module. So again, data flow from this module to the submodule and this module to the submodule, and the condition decides which module this module will call, whether it will call the view message if it has to view the message, or whether it will call the compose message module if it has to compose the message. Then basically it will send the message. In the compose message, it will send the message. If it is sending the message back to itself, then this is the arrow, and when it is sending the message to someone else, then send message module will be called. Right now, send message will send a message to this module. This send message submodule will send a message to this compose message module, ask school. So whenever a message is being sent, you are either informed about the message being sent, or if it is not being sent, you ask, you send a message that message could not be delivered, and even in before that, it is asked whether this mail should be sent. Are you ready for this mail to be sent? So this is known as the ask school message. So this message is basically sent from the send message module submodule to the compose message module. So that means the message is being, the flow of messages from this module to this module. So the control couple clearly shows this. Now in the verify login details modules, you can clearly see compose in database. So basically whatever your details are they stored in the database, whether it is your username or password, that is stored in the database. So when you verify the login details, that means you enter a valid username and password, and once they are verified, which is in the database, from the database they are verified, a message is sent back that the details are okay. So this details are okay message is sent from this particular module to this module. So the control flow you can see is from this module to this module with the help of the direction of this arrow. So login details are again passed. Once a data is being passed and another time message is being passed. So when you are verifying logging details, you are sending the logging details, right? So username and password are being passed from this particular module to this module. So you can see a directed arrow with an empty circle, that means which depicts the data flow. The data couple is representing the data flow. So what data is flowing? Your username and password from this module to this module. Now in the database, these details are verified. If they are verified to be okay, then this module will send a message which is depicted through a control couple. That is a directed arrow with a filled in circle that the details are okay, and in which direction this message is going, from this particular submodule to this module. So the direction of arrow is from here to here. So this is how the structure chart for an email server, and this is how you can create the structure chart for any such information system.